Hi there, I'm Isan Ali Shaw, and you're watching me on YouTube and Facebook Live. I'm a business analyst, freelance writer. I've been writing for the past 5 or 6 years or more. More than 300 business, academic, and research articles are published under my name. And today we are going to talk about customer care and art of love, compassion, human compassion, and support. We are living in a very fast evolving world of technology and tech companies and the materialistic world of finances and capital. It doesn't matter wherever you are. We all of us are impacted by these two factors. And these two factors, the materialistic world and the world of capital and finances, and the technology tech companies technology, they all the both of these factors are impacting our lives, and it doesn't matter wherever you are. We all of us, it makes us baffled. It baffles us sometimes. It could be about anything. For instance, things aren't working out the way you want to, the way you want them to be, and when it happens, we need support. And that's where Gary's role come in, and he gave the topic customer care service or customer care, an art of love and compassion. Is my guest to you. He is joining us from Alberta, Canada.
There we go.
Hi,
From the
Gary.
cold part of Edmonton here in Alberta, Canada. Nice to see you. Namaste,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay.
And
So
I
how
hope
are you?
everybody's keeping, well, depends on what part of the
Yes.
world you are. In my part of the world, we're keeping nice and warm. We
Mm-hmm,
have to, have no
mm-hmm,
choice. But
mm-hmm,
yeah, I mean, what a topic for tonight, Hassan. You know,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
this level of what is customer service in today's
Yes.
world?
I think
Or
you
does it
have
even
been in the
exist?
I think you have been in the customer service
Hassan, I
business.
can barely hear you. Let me see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Ah,
okay. Can
that
you
will
hear me
help.
now?
Yeah, it's actually, let me just adjust this a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
actually my telephone. The mount was sitting on top of the volume button, so it kept on going up and down. My
Okay.
fault.
Okay. Now, so how are you doing?
You know, personally, I can
Mm-hmm.
say that I'm doing well. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because the way that I see and the way that I venture through life and the way that I walk this path of this spiritual connection. Now, that's not for everybody. I mean, unfortunately, in today's world, we know what's going on. A lot of dismay, and we're not reaching to source. We're reaching to find source elsewhere. And, we're worried about what's going on in the world. We're worried about what's going on in, the cities and the streets and things like that. From a personal note, my personal self, it's always this quest for this essence of connection with spirit, connection with self respect, connection with self love. A lot of us don't really understand this aspect of self love and how far it really extends. If you're working in a shop someplace and you're the clerk behind the counter, this essence of self love can extend into the essence of customer service, how you see yourself, how you present yourself. It really is a vast universe, this essence of self love, because it's many things: courtesy, it's presence, it's eyes wide open as well. The ability that we can see where we're walking, who we're talking with, who is interacting with us as well. But in today's world, I mean, the businesses are closed. The Amazons of the world are functioning, making oodles and oodles of money, and the WalMarts are making oodles and oodles of money. But where's the customer service? There really isn't any. And I think this is maybe the hardest part of what's going on economically, when we
Yes.
see in the when you see in the world that it's not the big businesses that are suffering, it's the small
Mm-hmm.
business that has built, this brick and mortar from the ground up, has put blood, sweat, and tears into building their business. They've created or welcomed hundreds, maybe thousands of clients, and maybe if it's a generation of a business, it's been maybe 10,000s of clients. But they have this essence of, looking at a client, looking at a customer, welcoming them into space, just like, what's doing over here at Clarity. So where I am right now, I'm in a beautiful tea house where we support local community, where the paints that you see on the wall are here by local artists. Many of the things that are sold in retail are all about supporting local artists. But doors are closed because of this lockdown here in Alberta and other parts of Canada and other parts of North America and around the world. And how is it affecting, the business owners? As me, as this is not my business, but I work from here. I offer my consultations from here. I work and greet clients here, and we're missing that because we can't do that. We can't hug, we can't greet, we can't take a mask. We have to wear masks and things like that. And I'm this anti-conformist. It's like I don't wear a mask because I have freedom to breathe, but I do respect the choice of the client. That's in part customer service. If the client asks me to wear a mask, then by all means, for the time that I'm with them, I will wear a mask. But outside of that, no, because we're seeing the truths of it coming forward and how it's impacting businesses. In fact, it's not how it's impacting, it's impacted business. Here in Edmonton, we can drive down the streets here in White Ave and see, businesses that are closed. They weren't closed, 12 months ago. They weren't even closed 6 months ago. We kept on, hoping and hoping and hoping for the best that businesses can reopen and welcome clients, and it's not happening. So again, where's customer service? Amazon? There's no customer service there. You pick up something on the web, you order it, and it comes to your door. And it's not supporting a local economy. It's supporting a big box. So, there's lots of questions going on, Hassan. I mean, as a business owner myself, small business owner, and I've worked for large corporations and large businesses over the years, and everything I always did was always customer service orientated. Whether it was a spa or whether it was working in the IT industry and, repairing computers and setting up networks, it was always about this one-on-one interaction with a client or a customer, okay? And there used to be an old saying that said that, well, the customer's always right. It used to be because there was this interaction that we could have truth in conversation. But now in today's world, we see where technology has overrun a lot of this. How many times has somebody gone to a restaurant, they got a coupon from the Groupon Industries or from the couponing industries, and they're demanding high service, but yet they have a coupon that's worth 1/3 the value of what this service is. So now there's a paradox going on. We're seeing customers or clients or businesses that have tried to do such as the coupon industry to support their business, but now are faced with unruly clients in a way that are not respectful. So,
Mhm.
there's
So I
this.
think I think you have been in the customer care business for a very long time.
Oh, yes.
Mhm. So what have you experienced so far? I think when you talk about the customer service, then it hasn't been going up to the standard the way people are expecting it.
There's a double standard there. There's
Hmm.
what does the client expect? Of course,
Hmm.
this is your client. Value added dollar purchase. So
Hmm.
I'm buying a product. I expect that product. If I'm
Hmm.
putting money into it, that it's going to be a good product or a good service.
Hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. Okay,
Hmm.
there's an equal level playing ground here. The product's being sold at its value, the service is being sold at its value. If you're doing
Hmm.
customer service, you have a good product, it should be a win-win situation.
Hmm.
In the world where it is now, and what we see in North America and other parts of the world, we've
Hmm.
seen where the the downswing of businesses trying to survive in the economic times, the push and pulls, and then we add COVID on top of it. Well,
Mhm.
like it's hard enough for small businesses in a world that is being overrun with, you know,
Big
technology in
technological.
one way. Sorry.
Tech company, big tech companies.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a restaurant. My days, okay, customer
Mhm.
service. I said I've
Mhm.
been in customer service all my life. I even delivered pizza. So
Mhm.
I made the pizza, I cut it, I put it in the box, I got into my car, and off I went and I delivered it. So from
Mhm.
start to finish, I delivered a product, I delivered an outcome.
Mhm.
In today's world, we have the Amazons where we don't know who's making the product. We don't know where the
Mhm.
product's coming from. We don't know a
Mhm.
lot about the product other than some flashy advertising.
Yes.
Or we've got a business that's trying to survive and now is trying to use the coupon industry to, get extra business. But this is a
Mhm.
paradox to the business owner because they've discounted their service to make it accessible, which
Mhm.
is it really a question of making it accessible. In the
Mhm.
early days of this couponing, business and media,
Mhm.
it had some help, but now it's
Mhm.
gotten to the expectation that you got many clients, or they're buying coupons, so they're buying the fraction of the value of that service, or they're getting a fraction of they're paying a lot less for it than what they would be if they
Mhm.
were buying the normal service.
Mhm.
So the business owner is faced with a couple of things. One, you got to pay the employees, got to pay the
Mhm.
supplies, and now we've given a deal to bring in some new clients.
Mhm.
You get
The
10 to
the
15% of a ratio that you get a good new client. But you get the
Mhm.
other one that gets disgruntled because they want more. Then they get
Mhm.
onto the Yelp, they get onto the review sites, and they go bomb ballistic in
Mhm.
saying things it's hard to retract because now the tech has gotten hold of it. Now it's all
Yes.
over the search engines. Now
Yes.
you're dealing with a volatile situation that had no merit. So there's
Mhm.
this push and shove in an industry of business where we're trying to survive as business owners, and then we
Mhm.
add COVID on top of it.
W-
Trying to keep a smile in amongst
What
all of
about
this, I mean,
what about
pretty hard.
what about your service and business, uh, the way you are offering it, the kind of services you
I
are
think I
offering?
have a big, yeah, I have a big advantage
Mhm.
in many ways. One,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm passionate. I'm passionate about what I do. That
Mhm.
is everything. If it, my grandfather said it like this: if you can't smile or enjoy what you're doing, why are you doing it?
Mhm.
So, no matter what I've done, I've always looked at how can I make it something that's pleasant, even though it's a tedious task. There's a way to
Mhm.
make it pleasant. Because if
Mhm.
I'm making it pleasant for me, this
Mhm.
client, the client that will interact with me, will see that. They're going to
Mhm.
see that I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So when I work with essential oils, I mean, this is a beautiful world. I get to work
Mhm.
with aromas. I get to work with living energies. I get to work with emotion. I get
Mhm.
to interact in a way that many businesses don't. Because
Mhm.
if I do a soul print for you, as an example, now we're talking about real. We're talking
Mhm.
about emotion. We're talking about
Mhm.
our story. We're sharing in story. We're building a relationship that allows me to create a blend that is personalized to you.
Mhm.
So nobody has it. So,
Mhm.
in a way, the advantage I have is I create something for a client that's uniquely from me in a one
Mhm.
on one situation. In some
Mhm.
of the other products that I sell, well, I sell products that are, available to consumers, around the world if they wish. But the same passion exists behind it. So if
Mhm.
you interact with me and you ask me a question about, well, what's this product do and what does that product do? I give you all the information. I'm transparent. How is it made?
Mhm.
What goes into it? And why? It's not just, well, here's something that smells good.
Mhm.
That's 80% of the industry. We all make things that smell good, we think. Okay? But
Mhm.
when I work with these raw essences and I work with the sacred traditional attars, whether it's the Arabian attars, whether it's the East Indian attars, whether it's rose otto from Bulgaria or jasmine from, the Philippines, I'm working with some very beautiful magic of this earth. So
mhm,
I respect earth, and I pass this respect on to the client.
mhm,
There is something that I've always worked by is that anybody can sell a product. That's
mhm,
easy. That's a
mhm,
deliverable. Here it is. It's on the shelf. Pick it up, pay for it, out the door. But
mhm,
can you sell an outcome?
mhm,
An outcome, yes, it's a product, it's a service, but you've created a memory. So it ups the value of this customer service orientation where it's now becoming maybe a little bit more friendly with the conversation between you and your client because you're building a relationship. And
mhm,
this is, I think, the brick and mortar of any small business is that this is what we do. We
mhm,
build relationships. And
mhm,
as a small business owner that's also growing, I keep that same essence with me. And I've said to many of the people that I deal with, if I cannot enjoy what I'm doing with you, I'm not going to do it because I don't want the frustrations, I don't want the dramas, I don't want the misunderstandings of my philosophy over what you'd want to see just as profit. There's more to
mhm.
business than just profit.
Just
And I
profit.
and I believe that any successful long-term business understands that. Yeah, we're
Mhm,
profitable, we kept in business, but we've been there for how many years because there was some extra value that was added into the product or the service.
mhm,
But where we are in today's world with Amazon, I mean, that just makes people rich. That's all that does.
mhm, mhm. So it's the monopoly of tech companies. They are aligning them together to push out the small businesses, the
Yep,
small competitors,
yep,
the ordinary people.
yep.
So so how is it going to be?
Wow.
Mhm.
You know, if it keeps going the way it goes, small
Mhm.
businesses are going to be non-existent. In
Yes.
fact, even restaurants could end up being non-existent if the takeout industry. Let's look at this scenario. We're all locked
Mhm,
down. We're in our
mhm,
homes. We can't go to the restaurant. The takeout industry of the restaurant is growing. They don't
mhm,
need servers anymore. All they need is some sous chefs and some cooks. So,
mhm,
is the typical restaurant that you would go to sit in and gather with family going to be existent in 6 months, in a year from now? Or is it all
mhm,
going to turn into a here's an app, order your food and stay at home because we can't go outside because we can't breathe, or we have to wear a
mhm,
mask, or we can't associate, or wherever it
mhm.
might go?
Social distancing.
Yeah, social distancing. I mean, I look at a lot of the beautiful places that we would go to sit down and have a meal.
Mhm.
You're face to face with somebody, and now we
They
can't
are
do
closed.
this.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
what is the cost of that operation that has
Mhm,
all of this space, can't use it, and all he needs is a kitchen?
mhm,
They don't have any waiters, they don't have any waitresses, there's no more DJs anymore. The
mhm,
bars and the restaurants, I mean, even the liquor stores are becoming takeout.
mhm,
So, it's gotten to a point where we're so confined into our cages that
mhm,
the businesses are going to disappear. They're going to
mhm,
become basement businesses, having just a
mhm,
little kitchen, and that's restaurants we're talking about. Clothing stores could end up becoming non-existent. They even go in and try it on because you can order it on Amazon.
mhm. So in one way, you receive the personalized experience, the way
Yes,
you provide them, the way
yes,
you provide a deep personal level connection
yes,
with the customer, with your client. On
yes,
the other hand, we are living in a world of applications,
yep,
and you want something, place the order online, and things would be delivered to you at your
yep,
home. So it's the other thing. Now, there's one more factor there that we are avoiding. Most people, I think, whether some of some of you may have realized it or not, but it is there that how it is impacting the young people, the younger
hmm,
generation.
wow.
How would they feel And if it keeps going like this for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years or more, then the more damaging it would be for them on their mindset.
Oh, very much so, Hassan. In fact, the trauma that children will be subjected to today is going
Hmm.
to be traumas that will be going forward for generations to come. So,
Yes.
how can we allow this to keep on going? I mean, I look at some, I've seen it, and the example is here's a couple, they got a child, the couple's got masks on, the child's trying to take the mask off, they're
Hmm.
putting the mask back on, the child's screaming, doesn't want to wear the mask. We're
Hmm.
traumatizing this child. This
Hmm.
child is like, why? Okay,
Hmm.
if we are in minus 27 degrees Celsius, Celsius like we are right now, well, it's not a mask. We put a scarf on. The child
Hmm.
doesn't get, because it's warm. But these
Hmm.
paper masks or these cloth masks, you can't breathe them. They get humid, and at minus 27, they'll turn into almost ice.
Hmm.
So where's the logic in this? There
Hmm.
is no
Well,
logic in these.
mhm. There's a thing that okay, we should talk about from the customer point of view. The
Yes,
customer service is it should be supposed to be provided as a personalized experience the way you are doing it,
yes,
but it has moved to the next level of reviews and 5-star likes and hearts, the emojis that you send.
yes.
So mm, there's no compassion there in the thing that you do on online the way you do it in the real world.
Exactly, Hassan. I mean, in fact, I've done it over technology, like kind of one-on-one consultation.
Mhm.
It's very deep in its connection, of course, because I'm still doing a one-on-one interaction with the use of technology. The
Mhm.
difference of it is that if you're sitting before me, if
Mhm.
you're sitting before me in person, there's a different level of interaction. Of course, there
Yes.
is. I mean, you can
Mhm.
smell, you can touch.
Mhm.
In virtual, we can see, we can hear, but we
Mhm.
can't smell, we can't touch. So
Mhm.
many have asked me, well, how do I get across that same experience?
Yes.
Listening. When I
Mhm.
listen to, from what I do, I mean, I can't say a mechanic can do this, but what I do
Mhm.
and how I create, it's a story. So we share in story that allows me to understand with all the knowledge that I have in regards to the essential oils and the
Mhm.
atars and just this connection with Mother Earth is that it
Mhm.
allows me to take emotion and blend it with emotion of the earth because the earth
Mhm.
has emotion. We're
Mhm.
seeing this more and more. We're seeing things that are coming out that are backing this up. They're saying we
Mhm.
have frequencies from flowers, we have a heartbeat from a tree, we have emotional response from plants that when we produce certain frequencies and things around them. So there is a way to keep this going in this essence. We are taking earth magic and I'm interacting that with a client. This
Mhm.
years of practice of understanding how I resonate with the earth, where my
Mhm.
passion is. I'm not just
Mhm.
taking here's some oils, mix it together, and recipe and out the door. Okay?
Mhm.
No, there's a reason why rose will resonate with you with maybe a touch of jasmine sambac or maybe a touch of kadam or maybe a touch of lavender with a pine essence because we all have this essence of a spirit of a plant, a tree, a
Mhm.
flower, a spice that resonates with you. So I can interact with you in a way that a majority of businesses can't. So
Mhm.
there is an advantage here. The
Mhm.
advantage that I have is that I'm entering into your personal world. I'm not
Mhm.
just selling you a product. We're
Mhm.
we're creating something together, whether it's in
Mhm.
person or whether it's over the virtual. And the essence that I create is in essence, what I say is the soul print. It's an
Mhm.
empowering aroma that helps you when you're stressed, helps you when you feel sad. But even the amulet that's created is all created by hand. So this isn't something that, okay, here it is manufactured over in the Orient and off the door it goes. No,
Mhm.
from start to finish, it's touched my hands, my passion, my love, because I put love into it. So this comes across in that experience with the clients. And it's not to be boastful, but I look at the reviews that clients have left me after the interactions, and it's not just a couple of words. I mean, they're telling a story, how I touched their souls, how I touched their spirits, how I touched their emotions. This to me is this essence of customer service, because we have connected beyond the product. We've created a memory together. We've created an outcome together. So how can that go into other businesses? If you have passion in what you do, no matter what it is, the client that you're greeting would be able to feel this, because one, you smile. Two, it shows your transparency. You know what? This is my product. This is my service. This is who I am. This is what I believe in. You're selling yourself in many ways. So you're delivering this outcome to this client. Even in the
So,
IT industry, I was doing this because it wasn't important my bosses. It was important the client. I'm the one that's facing the client. So
so
what is the impression that I want to leave that client at the end of the day? I want them to smile.
I wanted to say that if you look at the customer user or the customer market share of companies, it's very big. It
Yep,
comprised of billions of people.
yep,
And on the other hand, the customer service of different companies is very low. So, when you compare the customer user, the number of people that need the support, that need is the support. On the other hand, the people who are providing it. So there's a huge contrast and huge difference between
yes,
both of them. So if businesses, on the other hand, it cannot reach to that level of support, cannot provide that level of support to all the people when it comes to as a personalized or customized experience.
definitely. Definitely
Mhm.
well understood from that point. I mean, if I'm IBM Corporation, to be able to do the kind of level of service that I do, or our customer interaction, is probably not feasible from any point of view. But
Yeah.
can the level of customer service be there with respect, presence, and courtesy? Yes, it can.
Mhm.
And this is where I think is the basis of customer service. You have
Mhm.
courtesy, you have presence, and you have respect. This is that three elements of what makes or breaks customer service. If I
Mhm.
go to a trade floor and I'm working with a team of engineers and we
Mhm.
are migrating 3,000 users, the very first
Mhm.
thing that I say to the team is that you have to be respectful. You have to have presence and listen to what the client is asking. And if they ask you to move
Mhm.
their mouse, you move their mouse. They're
Mhm.
paying the bill. There shouldn't be
Mhm.
any disgruntledness with what you're doing. Your
Mhm.
task is simple. Here's the
Mhm.
product. Here's the end result that's required. Do it
Mhm.
well, and everybody's good. So
Mhm.
showing this level of respect and this level of respect and presence to your client. It's the
Mhm.
same thing if I'm sitting here watching Clarity, and when it gets
Mhm.
busy, when it was open, and the multitude of the peoples that were sitting here, and one person, one business owner, one
Mhm.
is serving all of these 10, 20 people in here, bringing
Mhm.
them a tea, greeting them with a smile, bringing their foods, making sure they're getting
Mhm.
to their appointments. This is done by one person.
Mhm.
For me, this is an example of how a small business outshines a corporate structure that has hundreds more resources. So
Mhm.
why can't that level or some level of it still be there? Courtesy,
Mhm.
presence, respect, whether you're on the phone or whether you're in
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
If we walk into some of these supermarkets, there's no respect. It's just,
Mhm.
here's the till, buy your product, out the door. Is it a
Mhm.
pleasant experience? Well, not really. You've
Mhm.
bought your essentials and out the door. Okay, so it's a basic service, but still, can it not be more pleasant? If I
Mhm.
go to a local farmer's market, I buy the same foodstuffs that I would have gotten in the supermarket. But now I have an interaction with a small farmer.
Mm-hmm.
We talk, we exchange something that has nothing to even do maybe with the food. He's asked me how I'm doing today.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this what business was always meant to be in many ways? I mean, maybe things are changed. Maybe I'm a little naive in the sense that, okay, the technology is taking over and we can't do it this way. But
Mm-hmm.
I see the examples that we can. I see the small businesses that step up the game, that
Mm-hmm.
they offer value added services, that they're there for you, they smile to you, they look at you.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather put my money into that business than put my money into the Amazons or
Mm-hmm.
some supermarket that isn't going to show me any respect other than, okay, next, out the door. I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
commodity. I'm a human being.
Mm-hmm.
You're a
Mm-hmm.
human being.
Mm-hmm. So, in one way, the tech companies, if for instance, in terms of technology, you needed the tech support, then they will provide you online. And okay, customer service, the way courtesy, respect, and care is
Yeah.
provided via telephone or via email or whatever channel you are using. So it's one way. For instance, in comes up to tech support. But on the other hand, the kind of support that you need is emotional support or the love and the human companionship. It's not there in the online world.
In fact, it's not anywhere. Go to
Yeah.
your doctor, and is
Mm-hmm.
is compassion at the doctor's office today?
Mm-hmm.
No. There's a sign on many doctors' offices say you're entitled to 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
So you better know what's wrong with you before you come in because you only got 2 questions.
Yes.
Is there, this is customer, this is client care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick, I need help, I need care. Are you going to
Mm-hmm.
listen to what I'm saying? No, you're
Mm-hmm.
not listening to what I'm saying. You just want to give me a pill and put me out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So even in the medical system, there's no longer any customer care. There's no longer any client care in a majority of it. In some parts, we might find a compassionate doctor, but in they're 1 in 10,000 that you find one that truly listens to you with compassion, concern, and understanding about what's going on. In the old world, it was questions that the doctor would ask. How is it at home? What is your food like? How are you feeling in mind space before he got to asking you about what was hurting you. This was the truth of what it was as a healthcare professional.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, it's just numbers.
Mm-hmm. It's just
It's
a target.
you're
It's
a,
just
you're
a
a target,
target.
you're a commodity. How many
Mm-hmm.
clients can I see today? How many head nurses will speak to the people in the waiting room? I only saw 10 of them, but I'll build a system for 65 of them as an example.
Mm-hmm.
In different parts of the world, it's a different medical system. If I talk about the medical system here, well, our taxpayer dollars, well, they go into supporting the medical system. So in
Mm-hmm.
essence, who is the employer of the doctor? Is it the government or is it the
Mm-hmm.
taxpayer? It's the taxpayer.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Yes.
taxpayer dollars are paying for that doctor and his fees. But
Mm-hmm.
in many cases, guess what? Greed sets in, corruption sets in.
Mm-hmm.
I can walk into an office and just say hello, and there's
Mm-hmm.
65 people in there, and I can bill $65 for this. So, where's customer care? Where's client care?
Mm-hmm.
In a system where it's broken, we're looking
Mm-hmm.
for client care, whether it's a product that I buy or whether it's a medical service that I require. I need
Mm-hmm.
acknowledgement. Listen to
Mm-hmm.
me. Listen to what I'm asking. Listen to what I have to say. If I'm buying your product, I want to buy that product. Let's have the interaction. Let's
Mm-hmm.
bilateral communication. But this
Mm-hmm.
goes into everything, whether it be uh, getting gas in my car, whether it be food that I buy, whether it be dealing with somebody like me that creates something personal for you, or whether it is that, guess what? I have to take my child to the clinic and I need help. So there's a
Mhm.
client care that's here, a customer care.
Mhm.
Customer care is in everything if we sell a product. If we do
Yes.
not have customer care, then you have a commodity. That's it.
Mhm.
Your product is worthless. It is just
Mhm.
push somebody to buy it. They've bought it, and then you don't care about it afterwards. I mean, the run-of-the-mill companies that we see like this, the big corporations, Johnsons and Johnsons. I mean, do they care about the lawsuits? No.
No.
They say they say it's that. Well, that's a cost of doing business. We sold something that made people sick, but
Mhm.
yet they still keep on doing it.
Yeah.
So does customer care and client care only stay with the business, or does it
Mhm.
stay with the whole supportive system that's around it?
Mhm.
If we broaden this perspective, if
Mhm.
I buy a product, I expect it to
Mhm.
be a good product. So let's say
Yeah.
it's a skincare product.
Mhm.
I look at the ingredients. I see what there's a questionable ingredient. There's a toxic ingredient in here. I go to the government website. It allocates or it says this is a toxic ingredient, but it's okay if it's in a certain level that it's acceptable in the product. Well,
Mhm.
who gave them the right to say something that was toxic is acceptable in the first place?
Mhm.
Why is it in the product? Why is things like toothpaste have triclosan into it? Why are we putting, elements of pesticides into toothpaste,
Mhm.
deodorants? This is a company selling a product. They know how this product is made. If they've done their research, they had to. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm a product manufacturer.
Mhm.
Whether I'm doing it one-on-one today or whether I was doing it in skincare when I had a skincare institute and building, multitude of products. We knew
Mhm.
what was going into our product because one, we have to. There's concern
Mhm.
here. Do you think I want problems with a product coming back to me that's hurt somebody? No.
No. Yeah.
But in today's world, 80% of what you're buying is questionable. The food
Yes.
is questionable. Their clothing is
Mhm.
questionable. And now we put masks on that many people don't question, but are they aware that it's sprayed with a fire retardant? Are they aware it's sprayed with a chemical in the inside that's cancer causing? No,
Mhm.
but they wear them.
Yes.
Where's the transparency?
No. There's no transparency there.
There's none. So how are we supposed to, as peoples, have trust?
Mhm.
We can't trust the government. We can't trust the corporations, and everything else is going on.
Mhm.
It's created a very serious problem that many of us are not seeing. It's
Mhm.
not just the customer care and everything else. It's the dominoes effect of everything that's spinning down.
Mhm.
We can't get the products. We can't get the customer support. We have to wear masks, and the pressure that's being built. And now there's
Mhm.
families at home that are falling apart from pressure because they're locked down, can't go out, can't go to the restaurants, can't go do this, uh, can't get a hold of anybody because the product that they bought is wrong. The restaurant, well, sorry, you bought it, it was delivered, it's cold. Well, can you get another meal? You can't.
Mhm.
It's sort of an upside down world if you look at it.
Mhm. Yes, it is an upside down world.
Yeah. So how do we bring it back, Yasa? How
Yes,
is it
it's a
that
very good. It's a very good question.
I ask many people at times, if you could change something, what would you change?
Mhm.
It all starts with the individual.
Mhm.
Every individual around the world is part of the whole of the problem. Some of
Mhm.
us will say, well, I'm just a little guy, it's just me. Well, 7 billion people going is just me is 7 billion problems. Okay,
Mhm.
and that's sort of the extreme of it. But more
Mhm.
and more of us are waking up to choose better products, choose better
Mhm.
food, choose solutions, and try to find other solutions. But we're up against a big machine. I just lost my mind. So if we're up against this big machine, how do we as the individuals stand up against these big machines. The only way to stand up against them, Hassan, is to unify and come together and say what and see what is wrong, and acknowledge it, that it needs to be changed, and allow the space to come back that can allow supportive communities to be built, because community is the heart of everything. It's not the online, and it's not the big businesses. It's the local community. Whether it be the daycare, whether it be the gym, whether it be anything that is part of your daily day routines, your day-to-day activities, it has a level of client care, and customer service. But right now, we got a lot of frustrated people. Some of them can't even smile. So how are you supposed to be able to do it in a world where you're restricted from even smiling at people? Hey, lots of questions. And then we look at everything else, and we look at the politics, and we wait for maybe the governments and the world powers to make change. But is that the solution? That's a good question to ask everybody. And I think you
For instance,
folks.
yeah, I
Oh,
think, for instance, okay, there was a problem with the mic and there was a noise, so I went quiet for a moment and
okay.
I apologize. And
No, that's okay.
okay, 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, there was some kind of background noise there, so I had to put myself on mute for a moment. Then okay, we are back now. And
There we go.
yes, okay. And
So,
for instance, the world, if you look at the world's population, it's I think 6 or 7 billion people.
yeah,
So if everyone wants a personalized and customized customer care or client care service. On the other hand, the service provider, the people who are providing uh, the client service, they're very limited.
yes,
In terms of technology, okay, it's understandable that you can provide the textbook via phone, and we have discussed it in detail about the personal level of
yeah,
contact with the client that you should have and you're supposed to have. You have given a very good example of of the farmer market, that where you go and communicate with the person and interact
yeah,
with the seller, instead of just buying it online and or buying it from the big store just like Walmart
yeah,
or
yeah,
any other. Uh, Now, the thing is that it has created, I think, I am sensing it. Now we are entering into the another age, just like there was a period of First World War, Second World War, then there
yeah,
was a Cold War period, then we have the period of technology, the millennials or whatever you call it, and now we are now entering in the world of a digital age, or
yeah,
we have heard about it now. In our now the digital age, the technology is going to enter in our own personal lives. Now that wants people to to stay at home, to not to interact with people. Only you just are a keyboard. You just have to
mm,
type or call. The people uh, have become some kind of online app, or what's the better word for it? Mm,
artificial
mm,
intelligence in many ways, because look at what it's doing.
yes, yes,
We're
yes.
we're we're becoming part of a machine that sits at home
Mhm,
with no interaction.
mhm,
Thus, we don't know how to deal with emotions, because
mhm,
one, we have nobody to talk and interact with, but
mhm,
we're dealing with a digital spectrum that is impersonal and everything else. Is this where we're going to go in this technological leap? Is there going to be
Mm-hmm.
where maybe a point where you no longer need a partner anymore? You just push a button and magically appears before you and it'll cook for you and clean for you and everything else. I mean, there are those parts of it that are going that route.
Mm-hmm.
Is this what we really want from this world? I think there's those that, well, there's the power mongers, of course. That's what they want. They want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to control you. Like, here you are, you've been microchipped, you've been vaccinated, you're corralled. Now just do what you need to do for us, and everything's good. Control the body, control the mind. But what about spirit? We can't control the spirit, Hassan. You can't control the heart. The only way we can control it is get rid of spirit and heart. And in a world, when we look around what's going on, that's exactly what's going on. We're
Yes.
trying to get rid of spirit and heart and love, because spirit, heart, and love is everything.
Yes.
In your business, you can't sell spirit. You
Mm-hmm.
can't sell love. You can show love. You can greet with love.
Mm-hmm.
You can heal with love. But
Mm-hmm.
can you sell it? Some
No.
try. That's not love. That's selling addictions in many
Mm-hmm.
ways. But in businesses where we give love, show love, welcome with love, this is the heart of the community. This is the
Mm-hmm.
heart of that local community. What unifies people together? Supportive measures that unify people together. Small businesses that support each other. We work together, not the machine. Machine doesn't work together.
Mm-hmm.
The machine wants to own everything.
Mm-hmm.
But in a small community, that if we have this openness and this interaction between peoples, there's no borders. We know where to go to get the fresh bread. We know where to go to get the fresh vegetables. We know where to go to walk into the market. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's here, I've been around the world in places where there's open markets. You
Mm-hmm.
walk down this market, you smell the food, and there's other things as well. You maybe buy some clothing or something like that. But these are small merchants that have
Mm-hmm.
come together to support family, passion. They're
Mm-hmm.
having a livelihood, and they enjoy meeting people each and every day.
Mm-hmm.
Which world do we
So,
want?
mhm. As far as you have mentioned a very good point, that we cannot sell love. Love
No,
is something. Love is something that it has to be felt. It has to be experienced at a personal and deepest level.
yeah. Can question is, Assam, can we
Mm-hmm.
love without touch?
Mm-hmm.
Many people
No.
don't understand this. Many
Mm-hmm.
people think that if I touch you, if I'm in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with you, that's showing an act of love. Can
Mm-hmm.
we love without touch?
No.
In essence, we can, because
Mm-hmm.
this energy within, this spirit, this soul within, can show love. It is
Mm-hmm.
love. A lot of us think, well, I don't have a spirit. You have emotion. Okay, so you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
believe you have a spirit. You don't want to believe you have a soul, but you have
Mm-hmm.
emotion. Your
Mm-hmm.
emotion of love is what? Is it a
Mm-hmm.
love of wanting and need, or is it a
Mm-hmm.
love of exchange? When you
Mm-hmm.
can love freely and willingly and let another evolve voluntarily, this is the
Mm-hmm.
essence of love and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
Can we show this in a business world? Sure, we
Mm-hmm.
can, but we have to start with self. If I don't
Mm-hmm.
have love for self, I have no understanding of love for the world or love for another, just other than what's been programmed. But what we feel, you can't buy this. You
Mm-hmm.
can't sell this. You can't put it in a bottle, and you can't put it in a package.
Mm-hmm.
It's either there or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
My perspective, of course.
Mhm. Okay, and the as you were saying that it reminds me something else that love and human touch and and the customer care. So
Yeah,
there's three things are there. First, you love someone
yeah,
at a spiritual level. Okay. And for instance, mm, just like the connection we are having, or the
Hmm.
connection you develop with, with the client. On the
Yes.
other hand, there's a connection. There's a love of touch. If you are in a relationship, then it demands touch to feel someone's presence. Okay,
Hmm.
there's the third thing. A second thing, and third is is the customer support, where you have to be compassionate and love and a connection. You have to
Yeah.
develop a connection, but you have to remain professional.
Of course. There's a
Yeah.
fine line. Okay.
Yes.
If we show too much, well, it can be seen in a different version.
Yes.
It's the professionalism behind your passion is also
Mm.
the aspect of understanding respect.
Yes.
Respect of self is also an ignition of what we respect to, or acknowledgement of how we show respect to
Mhm.
another. So,
Yes.
in the aspect of compassion and love in customer care,
Mhm.
yes, it's a matter of, hold on a second, I just had to hit a button. It's a
Mhm.
matter of, where's the intent? My
Mhm.
intent is my business, my
Mhm.
product, my passion, my love for what I do.
Mhm.
Do I cross it over?
Mhm.
That's a dangerous game to play.
Yes,
If we cross over,
because you cannot afford to go out and touch everybody.
oh
You
no, you
cannot do
can't.
that.
Not in
Yes.
today's
Yes.
world. I mean, and
Yes.
especially for men. Look, I mean, in,
Yes.
in,
Yes.
in today's world, if we do the wrong gesture, there's a problem right away.
Yes.
So there's a paradox here, in the way
Mhm.
that men are trying to awaken into the
Mhm.
sense of, understanding our vulnerability, our sensitivities, our emotions, seeing where our toxic masculine came into play, and how to find balance between this masculinity and femininity within.
Mhm.
So we're in a paradox.
Mhm.
Many of us can't speak or can't voice touch because, while many things have happened in many parts of the world, and there's been the movements that have come over, and women are speaking up, and there's been a lot of abuse, it goes
Mhm.
both ways.
Mhm.
I met female CEOs that were just as aggressive as male CEOs.
Mhm.
Some of them were crossing the line. It's like, nope, sorry,
Mhm.
I can't go there. I got somebody at
Mhm.
home, not doing that. There's, again, a fine line. So
Mhm.
it all comes back to self. You and I think we understand this. Is
Mhm.
that I can show compassion and touch. I can give a loving embrace to a
Mhm.
stranger.
Mhm.
Now, is it the same embrace that I give to the loved one that I share space with? No.
Mhm.
It has the same essence of love,
Mhm.
but it also has a
Mhm.
border.
Mhm.
If I'm,
There's one more thing, that the customer, the professionalism, and and the human relation, and the connection,
yep,
and the touch. All of these things, when you combine it together, I think some people and some people, and in other words, yeah, we can call it some people, have misinterpreted these things, and they
yep,
don't want the personal connection. They don't
yep.
want the connection or deep insight.
There's many people, yes, I mean, look, some people have had experiences where they don't like to be touched, so we have to be
Hmm.
able to respect that.
Hmm.
If I offer a hug and you don't want to be hugged, that's
Yes.
fine. If I offer my hand and you don't want to shake my hand, that's fine. But I've made the gesture. As a
Hmm.
gentleman, I always
Hmm.
make that gesture, and I have
Hmm.
respect in that gesture. If I open the
Hmm.
door for you, it's a gesture that I've made that
Hmm.
has both respect, it has compassion, and
Hmm.
it's courtesy.
Hmm.
Is it touching a little bit of the essence of love?
Hmm.
I think so, yes, because if I don't have respect and care for myself, why would I show that I have respect and care to open up a door for you? There's a
Hmm.
little gesture of love in that. It
Hmm.
may not be love to say, I love you, but
Hmm.
the gesture of what I just did in kindness, that's part of love. Kindness is
Hmm.
part of love, as much as compassion is, as much as concern is, as much as awareness is part of love. It needs
So
all of it.
the question is that how would you know? the other person would perceive the love and compassion, the service, or whatever you are providing, whatever the gesture that you are showing, how would the other person would feel the same? Because I had there's been I had the misunderstanding a
Yep.
few times that I showed courtesy, a loving gesture, but it was perceived as something negative.
Right. Well, that's sort of like that's the unknown, Hassan. I mean,
Yes.
like honestly, 99% of the people that I've
Mhm,
created that I've created in my space in life, there has been openness. One, because I'm reflecting, I'm opening my eyes. My eyes are wide
mhm,
open. I watch their body language. I watch their, the tonality, their eye
mhm,
movement, their hand movement. If you're
mhm,
sitting all crossed up like this, well, you're closed off.
yes.
So understanding body language is something that
Mhm,
I used to teach as well in
mhm,
that of customer service, because I was giving customer service care courses with the computer technology and show them and how
mhm,
to read the body language of the client. You
mhm.
walk into
And
a
also,
volatile situation, boom,
it
how do you
also
deal with it?
involves it also involves the cultural factor as well, because in different backgrounds, different things are perceived differently.
Yep. Definitely. I mean, if I walked into the trade floor in a bathing suit, I would probably have been arrested. You know, it. It's there's common sense in a great deal of things. I mean,
Mhm,
freedom of expression is one thing, but if
mhm,
freedom of expression goes against the company image, that's a question. And this is where
mhm,
human rights comes into play. You know,
mhm,
we're selling a product. As an example, if I'm selling an ultra high hygienic made product,
mhm,
but the person who's going to sell my product doesn't clean themselves every couple of days because they believe in saving and conserving water.
mhm,
I have a dilemma on my hands. I
mhm,
have a product that I'm selling based upon hygienic protocols, and it's a hygienic product, and I have somebody
mhm,
that's not hygienic. So, how do I treat this situation? Well, one
mhm,
off is to address it and see if we can get to a common ground. If there can't be a
mhm,
common ground, then unfortunately, the image of the company, the product that I'm selling, the reputation that I'm selling is more important than the person who's not respecting that. If I employ
mhm,
you, I expect you to represent the company, not
mhm.
represent yourself.
Yes,
Freedom of expression is one thing, but again,
yes.
there's limit.
Mhm. Okay, and so we have discussed that there's love, customer care, that it should involve human compassion, courtesy,
Always.
the emotional level of support is
Yeah.
one thing. On the other hand, the tech support, that you are treated as a commodity, as a product, as something, or the thing you see, an emoji kind of thing, is the other thing. And now there's one more factor there, is the professional level of line,
Yeah.
that you cannot cross that line. You
Yeah.
have to be professional. You have to be yeah,
Business etiquette.
yes, business
In the
etiquette.
essence of business etiquette, is anybody
Mhm,
taught business etiquette in school?
mhm. Yes.
No.
Well,
We're taught.
I was taught. I was taught in the school. I did MBA, so I had to study those things. And
Okay.
but my point is that there is a line there in everything. As I said earlier, that you cannot go out and start hugging people and start touching people, because you cannot afford that level
No.
of
Not in
the
today's
contact.
world.
Yes,
Today's
in
world,
today's
we're going to
world.
get arrested.
Yes, and
Yep.
most importantly, it has made people very sensitive and cautious about these things. So I think you have to, as you said, you have to learn the language of body language. You have
Yes.
to be a very deep observant.
And very much so, Hassan. If I can, here's an example. A skincare institute, which we can call in a spa in many ways. From a European point of view, you and I would understand what a true spa is. North America, we think it's a nail salon. different whole ball of wax. We ran, my partner and I, in a previous time, had a very wonderful skincare institute. We didn't call it a spa, we called it an institute. Our ability to recognize where you were in your emotional space was a plus. We observed. We had our eyes wide open. We knew that it wasn't just, you know what, we're going to put some product on your skin. We're going to maybe make your nails feel good and your feet feel good. It was a lot more to it than that. We interacted with our client. We allowed them to feel safe and secure. That's a key to customer service. How does your customer feel with you? If your customer feels safe and secure, then there is no reason for any dismay within this relationship. So every one of our clients that came through the door was seen as a unique human being. Nobody was ever treated the same. Didn't matter if you were coming in for the same service as the previous client, you were not
Mhm.
treated the same. You were
Mhm.
uniquely different. You had unique needs.
Mhm.
If the tea I was going to give you was rose and the other one was going to be lavender, I listened to what my client needed. So,
Mhm.
how far can I go with this personal interaction?
Mhm.
As far as it needs to go, that has common sense, and you do not cross the boundaries of this etiquette that exists. If that client breaks down and needs to cry, and I've had that
Mhm.
happen thousands of times, they
Mhm.
feel free to cry in my presence because I respect
Mhm.
them and it stays
Mhm.
with me.
Mhm. Okay, I think we have covered enough
Yes.
about customer care, about the boundaries that people should learn and should understand the body language about the person they are speaking to, and the emotional touch and the personalized experience, the way you provide them to your
Yes.
clients, and it should be there, and it should be in some businesses, but every business cannot afford a personalized experience. And
No.
most importantly, uh, there's a fine line there in among all different kinds of services, customer care services.
They're
Okay.
exactly the etiquette in any interaction in a
Mhm.
business environment should be always the number one policy is how do
Yes.
we interact with our clients? How
Mhm.
open can we be with our clients?
Yes.
In many cases, in a small off one-on-one session, we can be more personal, but in a big
Mhm.
company, we can't.
Yes. And I think we have covered enough. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment box below. I'll answer it to you or Gary Mark, my guest. He has joined us from Alberta, Canada. He will get back to you as soon as he can. Thanks and
Definitely.
have a good day or good evening or wherever you
Good
are.
evening, good morning, good day, good midday, wherever you might be.
Yes, indeed.